recording. Hello once again, and thank you for joining us today for the March 2023 edition of Grayz Talk, themed Tech for All. In February 2023, we had a session which was focused on etiquette and life skills. We had on board Auntie Ari, a coach that took us through various aspects of life skills and etiquette. And I also shared my 7 tips. So if you would, you can go back and check it out on our YouTube channel, Grayz Consult, and you'd really have an insightful package of all that we had to bring on board last month. And today we would be going ahead to listen to our speaker, Stephanie Etiaka. But before we do that, a quick introduction of who I am, your host. I'm Grayz Adijariajuwon. I like to be called MG. I'm a certified business analyst, a management consultant, and a business developer and project management professional. So I really wouldn't want to bore you with so many details. All you just need to know about me is that I love management, marketing, media, and sometimes movies and music. And my guiding principles are desire, determination, diligence, and discipline. I'm currently the co-founder and main minder of Grayz Consult. And over the years, I've been focused on various things that have to do with executing business analysis activities, managing people, processes, platforms, and products. So why are we here today? In recent times, innovation and technologies have been highly leveraged to facilitate the transformation of societies and economies. As a result, it is important to ensure that resources and power that would advance increased participation in the technology landscape are equitably distributed, irrespective of the gender. This is one of the reasons that the United Nations International Women's Day was themed Digital All, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality, as it aims to recognize and celebrate the contribution women and girls are making to technology and online education, while creating more awareness to encourage increased representation of women and girls in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So today we have on board our speaker, Stephanie Etiaka. She's a venture and operations strategist who is on a mission to inspire, support, and empower African problem solvers and innovators. Our expertise lies at the nexus of business, technology, and venture capital. As a venture development and innovation executive, she advises businesses that are leveraging technology to solve some of Africa's wicked problems. Stephanie earned a first degree in business administration from the University of Lagos, an infectious zeal for learning and continuous professional development. I fetched us some professional certifications like the certificate in brand management from the University of London and the certificate of social impact strategy from the University of Pennsylvania. She is also an inaugural fellow of the Dream VC, a network of African venture capital professionals, a mentor with Tech for Our network, among many others. Stephanie currently works as the National Operations Lead at Wennovations Hub, an incubator and accelerator company that caters to the needs of startups, small businesses, and large corporations across Africa, and has recently led the team to expand into the Caribbean. Well done, Stephanie. She also founded Blacklight Solutions, a consulting and business support firm that provides business development services to startups in their respective markets. With this organization, she seeks to bridge the gap between startups and investors. In the last 3 years, Stephanie has worked with over 75 startups and MSMEs, advising them on strategy, business structure, fundraising, and customer acquisition. People frequently describe her as well-rounded, highly valuable, and a visionary. I agree to that. Stephanie adds even more color to the world with her passion project, Project Bridge the Gap. She has charged herself with the care and capacity development of oppressed and young children in the social justice system, providing them with the necessary mentorship, access to digital skills, and guidance to enable them to advance in life. In summary, our life's mission is to shape and change the world by investing in men and women who will deliver value across board. Join me as I welcome our speaker for today, Stephanie Etiaka. You're welcome.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me. I don't know whose biography or profile you share, but that doesn't sound like me though. Thank you for having me on the call today. It's a privilege to be here.
Please go ahead with your presentation. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Once again, I will just I have a couple of slides to share. Today I'll be talking about technology and how technology can, lead to of course, technology can be leveraged to extend opportunities across board. Please confirm you can see my screen, and I will just go. I'll be out of your hair in a couple of minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. So there's a very big saying, and I think that's where I'm going to start from, right? Talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not. And for me, that's how, and over the years, I have come to accept that that's the reality of everything, right? How we have talent everywhere, but then the key difference or the real deal is actually making sure that this talent have access to opportunity. Talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not. Moving to the next slide. So today, my presentation will pretty much just touch on the 4 areas: technology as a tool, technology as an enabler, technology as a leveler, and of course, how we can apply a gender lens to technology to empower women and promote gender equality. Because of course, we need to know that the technology that has come to become a part of our lives today has consistently evolved over time. Right. I really didn't want to choke up this presentation with, history from the first industrial revolution to the second industrial revolution to the dot-com bubble and Web 2.0 as we know it. But you would agree with me that if we do some reading and some digging up, we're currently on the cusp of the 4th industrial revolution, right? And this is the age of man and machine. But this time, this machine is not the machines that are big and are everywhere. There are machines that are smaller, machines that are smarter, and machines that have the capacity to think for themselves at some point, right? And that is where we are. And I'm going to be focusing my conversation. So when I say technology, I'm really looking at it from an application standpoint. And I'm going to be talking about, so when I say technology in this context, I'm probably going to be touching on, the ones we're familiar with: AI, blockchain, big data, and some sort of design, of course. So those are the things I'm going to be talking about. I'm not going to be talking about the very complicated ones, right? You will agree with me that technology has changed a lot of things around us, a lot of things in our lives. It has changed how we relate with the world, how we relate with our environment, and of course, how we relate with other people that are around us, particularly when it comes to businesses, right? Technology has changed the way we do business. In the last 3 years since COVID, businesses have come to understand that it is no longer you playing in your own corner, but right now you are playing in a global world. Technology has compressed the world into a big ball of interconnected lives, interconnected structures and systems, right? So I think before 2020, it was really very rare to see companies, tell their workers to, okay, take a day, take 2 days. You don't need to come to the office every day. It was not the regular thing. But today, when you see job listings outside, the first thing you're looking for is either it's an on-site or an off-site role. It's just taken about 3 years for us to get here from 2020. So I'll just touch on what technology has changed around us, and at the end of the day, try to tie it down to how we can leverage technology to bring a lot more people into opportunities. Yeah. So of course, technology has changed our communications and our interactions. I must tell you that I have known Mrs. Grayz since I think 2018 or about 2019. But it would surprise you to know that I have never met her physically. 2019 till now is about 4 years. And I'm very sure she's in one part of the world that is probably not in Africa, right? And we've had a professional relationship over the last 4 years, even without seeing each other eye to eye, shaking hands and doing anything, right? That's how technology has come to change how we use information. There was a time when the go-to place for information was your Instagram. Now, everything is to teach us. Of course, technology has changed business. It has changed financial services. Before, your parents or our parents, I would say, used to get paid by cash. So everybody, when it was that time of the month, there will be a big bag where the boss will come with a big bag of cash, and then, oh, okay, everybody come and collect your salary. They'll count it, particularly in local government settings, right? Come and collect how much your salary, 30,000, they'll count it, take your salary. And then everybody would know who got paid and who didn't get paid. Or to another person's bank account, wherever the person is in the world. That's how much impact technology has had. And of course, technology has had an impact on education, on learning. I'll share a personal experience. And I don't advise you to do this though, but I was in final year, 400 level, University of Lagos, and I went to class about 3 times, just 3 times the whole year. I had a lot of things on my plate. I was busy doing student politics. So in order to learn, I would just make sure I had the course outline for the semester, and I will get on YouTube and watch all the videos I could find on those topics, right? And I formed my own notes. And that's how I came about the caption for YouTube called the University of YouTube. YouTube actually taught me my final year in uni. And that was my best year ever. Both semesters, I had my best results. But I went to class just 3 times. I was able to educate myself using the University of YouTube. And yeah, that's just a testament as to how education has changed how we learn, right? Areas where, Nigeria has the highest number of out-of-school children in sub-Saharan Africa. and technology, and I see ambitious founders who are really leveraging technology on how to deliver, knowledge, how to educate people using their local language, and then with as little technology and little complications as possible, reducing the barriers to formal education. And I see that a lot of people are now being brought into the bracket, and a lot of people are putting a dent in that huge number of out-of-school children. Of course, we still have a lot more to do, but I would say if there's anything we can use to solve that problem, I would vote for technology 3 times out of 2. Right. Of course, I would then talk about how technology is a tool, right? Like I said, I've referenced the fact that it can be used to provide quality education, healthcare, and financial services to underserved populations. I'll give an example. We know about M-Pesa in Kenya, right? And then that's the opportunity that technology presents us with. So I'm trying as much as possible to not rush it, but in my line of work, I come across a lot of ideas, right? But my charge to founders is always about what problem are you solving? Is your product, right, a painkiller or a vitamin? When it comes to problem solving, if your solution is a vitamin, it's a good to have. But if it's a painkiller, it's a necessity, right? At that point, that is where technology becomes a tool. When there is a huge problem, and then you say, how do I solve this? And you turn to tech to be able to solve that problem. I'll give a big example. I was talking about M-Pesa in Kenya, right? So they had a very large population of unbanked adults, so people who were outside the banking system, outside the banking and financial system. It was a problem, right? And they were like, how do we then bring all of these people into the banking system? How do we promote financial inclusion? And then M-Pesa was built. M-Pesa is mobile money, right? And I can tell you for sure, M-Pesa is the most advanced, right, mobile money platform in sub-Saharan Africa. I can even dare say that it's the most advanced in the African continent. If you go, no matter where you are in Kenya, if you walk to a mom and pop store, they have M-Pesa. If you walk to the woman who sells in the market, who's not even, techie in quotes, she has M-Pesa. You go to a large supermarket, you have your cards, and you can even still choose to pay using mobile money via M-Pesa, right? And that's how technology has been leveraged as a tool to be able to bring people outside the financial system into the system that works. Another example that I will give is M-Copper. M-Copper is an access to finance, but I call it access, and this example is access to energy, right? And there are a few other startups that are already doing it, where a startup says, so Nigeria has a power problem, right? Or I would not want to mention names, but you could read up on M-Copper and all these other startups. Now, Nigeria has a power problem. 60% of our population does not have access to uninterrupted power supply. It means 6 out of every 10 Nigerians needs light, but they never get light when they want, how they want, and at the cost that they want. And now, to increase productivity, people are left with no other option than to look for alternative sources of power. That's where we have generators and all of that. And recently, everybody now says, oh, we need to, consider our environment and all of that. Let us start looking at other sources of energy, renewable energy sources, solar. So solar is the most popular one. But you see, that's a solution to the power problem, but solar installations, be it for private or public use, are not cheap. The average Nigerian may not be able to afford it, right? So what do? Then we see startups who go back understand the science, understand the technology behind, solar transmission to power, and begin to produce smaller units, right? Then they add an access to finance, would I say, benefit to it. So you can buy a smaller solar unit to power just your room. In fact, I know MTN has a product where you can buy your solar over a 3 to 5 year period, right? And then you can even choose the number of bulbs you want to power in your house. You can charge 2 phones, you can just carry just 1 fan, and you have the amount of energy that you can afford at the level that you are. What has been done is that technology has been used, and now in this case, solar technology has been used to solve a key problem, and that's the power problem. If we amplify that across the continent in another 3 to 5 years, or even if we just even focus on Nigeria and say, we want to solve the power problem using off-grid solutions. So we begin to make smaller mini grids, and then begin to make smaller solar boxes, smaller power boxes. I can tell you we can close the power divide that we have in this country. And that's how technology can be leveraged as a tool. I think I've spent so much time. Of course, technology can also be used to promote transparency, accountability, and good governance. For example, I'll touch on the last elections. I think we should be forward thinking. Blockchain can solve these problems, right? Technology, we can leverage decentralized, technology infrastructure such as blockchain to deliver seamless, high quality, high fidelity elections in Nigeria in the next 5 to 6 years if we really, really double down on it. I'm a blockchain advocate, by the way. Now, of course, need to move this down. Technology is an enabler, right? And this is coming from the context of what we can do for one. Technology helps us do for thousands and thousands of others, right? So, for example, the internet. The internet is what makes this conversation possible. I have what to say. Grayz Consult, right, has people who need to listen to what I have to say. Without technology, I will probably have to gather everyone and put in the same room. Now, based on location, it may take me a little time between, in fact, if there were no mobile phones, no emails, no social media, I had to write to everybody to come to this location where I am in my office to listen to this conversation. It'll probably take me a whole year to reach everyone. But what technology has done is to take me in Victoria Island and you wherever you are and bring us to a place where we can interact and exchange ideas. With that, it has enabled us to deliver value to each other. And that's our technology, and that's the beauty of technology. All right. We see a lot of we see a lot of things happen during COVID, the lockdown. The only thing that was keeping people, quite a lot of people, was the connectivity they had with people on the other side of the world using technology. So we saw a lot of churches, we saw a lot of events moving to online, online mode. It enabled a lot of things. Now, if you take technology and add it to an already great system, that system becomes more efficient. For example, you run a business, right? And your business is maybe, I use a very popular MSME. Okay, maybe you sell food and you're very popular in Ikeja. So that means people within Ikeja and people who have used word of mouth to spread are the only ones who will know about you, right? But now we take technology, this time social media and the internet, we then add it to your already great restaurant. You then begin to see people place orders from all parts of the state Some people even fly out of the country and say, yeah, if there's anything I want to do when I visit Nigeria, I want to visit this place. What technology has done, right, is to take what's good and it has made it great. And that's one of the beautiful things about it. You can solve one problem for 1 million people at different times on different levels, giving them almost the same satisfaction. That's the beauty of technology. Right. Of course, technology is a leveler. And I'll go back to my opening statement that says talent is everywhere, opportunity is not. Technology is what bridges that opportunity. Digital literacy, digital skills has literally turned people's lives around. Technology is what makes a young guy sit down, assess a question, access a problem, solve it, and get rewarded for solving that problem, right? But of course, I'll look at this also from a gender lens, right? We know, and this is International Women's Month, and we know that in terms of the corporate world and in terms of opportunity distribution, women have not had it like the male counterparts. So it's up for debate if they've had it better or for worse. But I would say it's not been the same, right? What technology has done is to try to bridge that gap, is to try to, design an inclusive society. And we can always use technology as that leveler. I'm a big advocate of women literacy, digital literacy, focus on girls, focused on women. In fact, it's one of the core pillars for us at my organization here, Wennovations Hub. We must, if I'm working with a team today, I'm asking, do you have a female co-founder? If you don't have, do you have female staff, no matter how early you are? If you don't, I tell them it should be in your plan. There's already a pipeline that we're trying to set up to make sure more women have access to technology, to be able to level the inequalities that are existent in the corporate world and in the world generally. And technology can promote that, leveling, and it can promote social and economic equity, right? I will move on. Of course, what are the challenges and the opportunities? And I'm going to tie everything up. And I think it's like my second to the last slide. I'm going to tie everything up to this point, right? What are the challenges to technology adoption? What are the challenges to making sure that people can leverage technology to be able to have access to opportunities around the world? I mean, I see people who are younger than me, people who were in secondary school, I was in university, who are earning foreign exchange, contributing to Nigeria's economy from Lagos here, but they are solving problems across the world, right? But it's not the same for everyone. A lot of people are still outside that bracket. So one of the challenges, of course, will be infrastructural limitations. Before you talk about remote work, or before you talk about technology, or before you talk about building things or improving systems using technology, first need to ask ourselves, do we have lights? Second question we need to ask ourselves, these gadgets and these tools, does the average Nigerian child have access to these things? Those are the limitations. Of course, digital literacy. We also need to understand how many people fully grasp the potential of what it is we're talking about. I always say the technology revolution that we're currently witnessing in Africa is an opportunity to leapfrog all the years and all the decades that we have been behind. We didn't partake, or we didn't fully partake in a lot of cycles. But right now, we are right in the middle, by virtue of our population and the young distribution, we're right in the middle of a new wave. And this is the wave that is not plastic or not ATM money, right? This is not the wave of, oh, you're using a BlackBerry phone, or this is not the infrared wave. This is a decentralized wave. This is a block 3 wave. This is a web 3 wave, I beg your pardon. This is a blockchain wave. This is big data. This is AI. We're right in the cusp of it. And I'm saying that how many people really grasp extent and the power that we have, or that we can wield using technology. Of course, lack of access to finance is a big problem, right? And technology, and I beg your pardon, without access to finance, sometimes opportunities cannot be leveraged. Now, we'll talk about the opportunities that this whole technology wave presents us with. Innovation. We are this close, right, to solving problems that have existed in our communities for more than 200, 300 years. I mean, there's a startup called Koniku, right? Koniku is using advanced, their unique selling point is this: they can diagnose diseases using gadgets and devices. I'm not sure you don't need blood work. You don't need getting under MRIs machines. You don't need all those doctors poking at you. Koniku has developed something. I know it's still in development phase. Of course, they would improve as we go, but just look at the potential of that innovation. So you can wear something on your nose. You will look at someone, you smell a few things, and then you say, this person has cancer, stage 2, and you will be accurate. Those are the opportunities we're presented with. It means that medicine is going to take a completely different, it's going to be completely different design if that comes to the limelight. And I'm really, and there are other startups like that, right? I mean, we're looking at the AI wave now, and everybody say AI is coming for your job. I see it as an opportunity to innovate around what we learn, how we learn, and how our learning structures and learning modules are built. If AI can do it, I don't need to be trained to do it. I could be trained to do something else. Or I could be trained to master the AI that is doing it. These are the opportunities. Of course, empowerment. Technology empowers people financially, economically, and of course, if there is a better way to solve a problem, it naturally puts you in a stronger position. I imagine I had to rush all the way at 4 o'clock in Lagos. I had to rush all the way to a location to come and give this speech. I probably would have left 2 o'clock, and I left my office at 2. I'd probably still be in traffic. Imagine I was going to Ikeja, and then the whole Lagos traffic, leaving the island, is still in Ikeja. There's technology to leverage. I'm in a naturally empowered position. I'm here. You don't even know if I'm doing something else, right? So it puts you in a stronger position if you have ways of solving problems. And I think that, of course, financially, it has literally minted more millionaires. I mean, the ICT sector contributed I think about 17.64% to Nigeria's GDP in 2020. I don't have the figures for 2021 and 2022. It means it has literally printed millionaires and billionaires, right? This technology sector is still very nascent. Our ecosystem is still, so there's a saying that a rising tide lifts all boats. As it's rising with the people at the forefront of it. So anyone who wants to position his or herself should be asking himself, what problems can I solve using technology? And of course, inclusive growth. Equal distribution of technology and technology solutions and innovations would see us even out, on equal growth. It will see us bring more people into the fold, right? Technology is what makes, us, close those gaps. There were professions that before now were considered a man's job and a woman's job. But now in the technology space, there's no gender at all. And for me, that's the beauty. And that's why I will keep preaching the technology gospel. I will keep talking about it. We have problems to solve in Africa. Malaria is still a problem in this continent. How we can move as people is still a problem. I mean, for all the advancements in financial technology space, it's still a problem to solve for cross-border remittances. If I'm sending money to Ghana, that money in most cases has to get to the United States, a bank in the US, before it comes down to Ghana. Ghana, that's a 1 hour flight from here. We need to figure out how people can move seamlessly. We need to figure out how a woman who's trading in Balogun market can supply fabric to someone in Kumasi, and she doesn't have to leave where she is. These are the opportunities we need to think about. These are, and for me, I would say that the opportunities we can access, right, leveraging technology, lies, or okay, here's how to put it. I would say the impact we can make, right, is by really sitting down to understand the problems we can solve. Now, I will close with gender lens, women empowerment. Women receive less than 2%, right, of venture capital funding around the world. In Nigeria, those figures are saddening. Now, I have sat down to really consider it. Is this a pipeline problem, or what would we call it? And I proposed 2 things. I've said, yes, there's a pipeline problem. We need to train more women in core, when I say core technology roles, right? These women then go on to found technology-enabled businesses doing the hard stuff, right? And this is not to cast aspersions on any career path. Everything is equal, but you'll probably find more female digital marketers, product managers than you find female, hardcore developers and folks, right? We need to get more girls into that pipeline to even it out, right? So there's no stereotyping, right? So once we do that, begin to see more girls doing all of these things, then they begin to really, do the hard things. Then you see more female-founded businesses. But there's also a second problem. It's not a problem, but I think it's just a next step, right? And that is the innovation part. We have more female entrepreneurs in Nigeria, right, than male entrepreneurs. I think it's about 55% to 45%. What that means is that we have more people, more women running traditional businesses than men. I have then thought about it. Why don't we optimize, right, these existing businesses using technology, and then at the end of the day, we have brought those people who are outside this technology and opportunity bracket into the opportunity bracket that we have created. So for example, someone does logistics. Why don't I build a solution to help? So I don't need to own the logistics businesses. That's another thing we need to think about. Why don't I build a solution to empower that woman who owns 5 bikes? Once I do that, I'm able to give her a platform. I'm able to use technology, right, to solve a problem for her. I bring her outside the technology opportunity bracket into the technology opportunity bracket. At the end of the day, I have solved that problem of supporting female founders. I've also solved that problem of having access to opportunities, particularly because of the type of business that they are running. I think I'm going to stop here. I'm going to take questions. I know I've rambled a lot, but I hope you'll be able to pick 1 or 2 things from what I've tried to say. I'll close with this. Talent is everywhere. Opportunity is not. The quality of the opportunities that we can access, or the quality of impacts that we can make, it lies in the quality of problems we're able to solve. The day we figure out how to add technology into everyday problems, we've already created magic. And anybody can do that. It can be male, it can be female. I think we're at that point, right, where we begin to see wonderful things coming out of our continent, of our country, and we have the greatest tool in our hands. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Stephanie. Awesome presentation, and I really like the last part, your close, the fact saying the fact that talent is everywhere, and opportunities may not be, but then the impact lies in the amount of problems we can solve. And definitely, once we have a lot of problems and we're able to create solutions, definitely then we can see life becoming easy and many more things being done within our sphere. So I just have 3 questions that I would want to ask. And so the first really is with respect to tech trends that we see currently. I know you mentioned AI and blockchain. So we've really heard a lot about these tech trends and all. And I want you to touch on how individuals and corporates can prepare and equip themselves with these trends in order to ensure they are not left out. Definitely there's the fear of missing out. There's the question of when do I go in, when do I not, especially with blockchain, like you mentioned. So how can you start getting prepared, or when and how do you get into that space?
All right. Thank you very much. So first things first, we need to understand that we should not relate with technology from a standpoint of fear. If there's anything that I want you to take out of here, it is that technology is a tool. Yep. It is a tool. So you shouldn't relate with it from a standpoint of fear. What you need to do is to have an open mind. And I wish I could do that, right? I wish I could have that, but let me just I'm just trying to look for something that I want to share.
Okay. Go ahead.
Just a minute. I was reading about it. I noted it somewhere. Okay, so there are 5 stages of new innovation, right? There are 5 stages, and for me, I'll just share my screen again quickly.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So, and that's what really determines survival of your business or your relevance as a human being. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's the technology adoption cycle, right? Yeah. Yes, that's what I wanted to talk about. Now, there are 5 stages. When it's still very nascent, when it's just a few people that we can consider mad that are talking about it, right? Mm-hmm. And this is like the very base one. So the thing is this: over time, right, we then move to the next phase. So here we have the innovators. They're probably the ones who built this infrastructure. They're probably the ones who researched it, who found out about it. Then they put it to the world. Apologies. They put it to the world and say, there's something great here. You guys should learn about these things. Nobody's paying them any attention. Then there are early adopters, people like myself, like people before me who say, oh, this guy has been rambling about this thing. Let me even listen to what they have to say, right? With respect to my industry, how can I draw a line between what this person is talking about and my industry or what currently exists, right? Yeah. Then, of course, immediately we have a few early adopters. Then there's a majority. Before you know, it catches fire, like the crypto boom. Oh God. Let me just stop sharing and then just close my WhatsApp. Right. Yeah. I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay.
We live in a connected world.
Yeah.
So now there's the early majority. So
Mhm.
maybe someone popular finally gets on the bandwagon of the early adopters, and then he makes it popular. The crypto bandwagon, right? Everybody, Bitcoin was everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, okay, let me know what this Bitcoin is about, right? Then before you know, some people came in very late, right? And that's the late majority. And of course, the ones who would, when the old technology is not everywhere, that's when they will join. So you need to understand the stage you are, or the stage the technology trend is. And if that's the stage that will unlock the best value for you. And here's what I'm saying. I'm a blockchain enthusiast, right? I didn't say crypto enthusiast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of noise everywhere when it comes to trends. If there's anything you need to know, trends will come, trends will go, right? Only innovations born out of those trends will stay, right? So you need to understand what is the noise and what is the substance. This is why we see companies investing so much in technology, quotes, and then they will tell you they're not seeing any results. Because there's a gap between understanding what is the noise and what is the substance. Any trend, anything at all, one thing you must take out of it, use cases. People are talking about blockchain. And I always say blockchain has, at least in Nigeria that I know of, today I can list about 20 use cases that we can use blockchain to solve. That means it's a phenomenon that will come and it will stay. Crypto is one use case for blockchain. We have explored that to an extent. Other use cases will pop up and then it will stick. It then becomes an integral part of our lives. So what you need to do as an organization and as an individual is to get familiar with trends. I'm not saying dive into it. Get familiar with trends to be able to sieve between what's noise and what's substance. Immediately you're able to establish a few things, right? You then begin to draw a line, use cases. How would this affect me as a person with respect to my job? How would this affect the industry that I compete in with respect to my business? How can I use this technology to make my problem solving better? Because every business exists to solve problems. So if you say the next trend is AI, can I put AI into my e-commerce business? Would it make it better? So those are the questions we need to ask, right? So I think if you are able to understand the technology itself, get familiar with it, read, study, watch videos, go on Twitter, follow industry leaders, then you're able to see what is noise and what is substance. Then you're able to marry it with a use case with respect to your organization, your sector, your industry, and your personal journey. I think you will be at least part of, you'll be safe when it comes to that particular trend. And then of course it's a continuous cycle. New technologies come up every day. So you rinse and repeat for the various technologies that you're appreciating. I hope I was able to answer that question.
Yeah, yes, you did. That was quite elaborate. Okay, so I have another question here from a participant, and it says, how do we get empowered with digital skills in terms of courses you can recommend to low literacy women? So, speaking on how women can be more empowered, and women tend to see, I think, social media more as a tool they can use, but definitely there are many more. And definitely in terms of skills, in terms of courses that one can take. So just tell us your take.
Okay, thank you for that question. So like I said, there's knowledge everywhere. How to access knowledge is probably where, the balance should be. Right. So I would recommend, personally, my organization, I'm going to drop it here. Okay. We have something that we have built for entrepreneurs, right? So you're a founder, You're just starting business. You don't even know anything.
Awesome.
So you just go to winnolearn.com.
Okay.
So but this is quite advanced, right? So you probably need to have some level of knowledge. So, but for people who are low literacy, people with lower skills, I think what you can do, I may have to get back to you on that, right?
Yeah.
I know Google has a digital skills training. Yes, and that's actually tailored to small business owners in Africa. There's that. And then another thing that you can leverage, which is something that we are a part of in my organization, is I know some states like Lagos State government has a digital skills initiative that they roll out to people who live in Lagos State. So they partner with organizations like ours, so like Wennovations Hub. We have a training space, so we bring people. What do you want to learn? You want to learn computer? I say, I want to learn computer. Okay, you cannot learn computer, right?
Which one?
Start from here. We will design the curriculum for you. Look at you, you understand? Say, okay, you start from here. You know, some of these classes we use Yoruba to teach them, right? So it's all dependent on the location that that we find ourselves and all of that. So you need to look out for those opportunities as well. Look out for opportunities like Eco Digital, Jobs Initiative Lagos is for students in universities, so it's a bit high level. But of course, you need to look out for states and social impact projects targeted at women. You would definitely have courses that are tailored to what they need at the time. But of course, I've already dropped a resource as well for entrepreneurs that who are looking to learn about business and startups, and they can just go and pick up from there.
Okay, awesome. So we're about wrapping up. I think I'll just want to ask the last question. So how can business owners leverage technology to do more, especially regarding improving their processes and increasing profit?
Okay, thank you very much. I have a saying, anything that can be repeated can be automated. Anything. Just very few cases that I've seen exceptions. So as a business owner, you need to first of all understand. Some people do business 5 years, 7 years. There's no documented process of how that business works. The day they are not around 2 months, everything goes lives. That's not a proper way to do business, right? First of all, you need to have proper documentation. Proper documentation is what will open your eyes to areas of repetition, thereby leading you to areas of automation. Now, once you understand that, oh, this thing happens over time, I've seen a trend, I've seen a pattern, this is how we do it. Is there a tool outside there that does this thing for me while I sleep? Is there a tool outside there that does this thing for me while I sleep? So you're a business owner, you make sure your documentation is on point. From documentation, you move to the automation stage. It's possible that there's no clear cut out tool for you that can, make your processes faster and all of that. Maybe you talk to somebody about it to custom build it for you. I know people who build ERPs for their organizations, right? These ERPs are tailored to your organization. You can cut out a lot of things, design your own working system. That way you're able to see waste. That way you're able to see performance. That way you're able to see money. At the end of the day, if you have something that shows you how your business is doing with the click of a button, you will know what to improve to make more money. And of course, to drive profit, I would say usual things, leverage social media, talk about partnerships, try to upskill your staff, particularly with technology adoption. Trust me, if you have people on your team that are technology savvy, they will always find a way to get things done better and faster, saving you money at the end of the day, making sure that your business is optimal. So I think with this, I think you should be okay with all
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
You are
Really
welcome.
appreciate you share with us your perspectives and various areas that we can explore. I also want to say thank you to everyone that has joined us today. Thank you so much for joining us. A replay of the session would be available on YouTube. So in case you missed any aspect, you can always go back. And if you have any questions again, please feel free to send us to us via email at grayzconsult@outlook.com. You can also follow us on any of our social media channels, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram at Grayz Consult. So till we'll see you again. Bye
Thank
for
you
now.
very much, everybody. Enjoy
Yeah,
the rest of
thank you
your
so
evening.
much. Thank you.